Welcome back to the Workbench here at Scale Models Midwest. David here in Altoona, Iowa, as always. Hoping that you're having a wonderful week so far. Consider another kit done. I think this is kit number 7 on the year, which I'm doing really good. So just kind of give you a walk around. I don't have a battery operated turntable or anything like that just yet, so just kind of spin it around a bit. Just need to tweak a couple of things on this, and then I'll be ready to give it to my friend who's a big Bill Elliott fan. I'm hoping that she and her daughter really like this. I think it came together really well. I'm going to have to go back up to the hobby shop in Ames and pick up a couple more of these kits, just throw them back in the stash, use them for parts, or put together other kits from the 90s. I know I saw a Buick Regal, I think, in 87 or 88. I think it would have been in 88 because it was the, I think they called SN10 body style, which was the downsized one after 1987. So I think definitely we'll get that one if it's still there. But otherwise, this one, like I said, turned out pretty good. The chassis, just pretty straightforward. Nothing super detailed, a lot of paint detail. Got the headers, the collectors, and everything in place. I like how the exhaust exit on both sides of the car instead of just on one side. Trailing arm, everything else set up. So looked good. And then the decals that I had on the sheet, they did good as well. Yeah, altogether I'm pretty pleased with the kit. Just a couple little things to clean up, and then, like I said, be ready to hand over. And this is the first kit that I've actually put together to give to someone else this year. Everything else has been on my shelf, so I'll probably do a couple more to give to others later on in the year. But for now, let's head upstairs, talk about some kits that I'd like to build. So, question I saw that it was asked on other channels like Jason's Blue Ox Models was, where do they get their kits? Where do they buy their kits? And for me, pretty much the same. I go to www.modelroundup.com and I buy kits from them. I've also bought supplies from them. I've also utilized other places like Iceman Collections, Joe Mendoza. You saw my Mustang build. I love his engines. He's got some of the best detailed 3D printed engines out there, and that truck chassis was just phenomenal. I've written up a little list of things that I want to buy from him. I've yet to pull the pin and go back and buy them, but he's got a little milk truck coming up in July, so I'm definitely going to pick that up and a couple other items because I've got some plans and some ideas in my head to put to use with that little milk truck. But web-wise, I go there. I also go to HobbyLink Japan, hobbylink.com. You saw in one of my videos I purchased some kits from them, and their customer service, like Model Roundup, is fantastic. Again, the prices of the kits are reasonable. Shipping is also very reasonable, and I got them in a good amount of time. I didn't have to wait an awful long time for those kits. So someday I'm going to build those kits up and present those on the channel. I also go to eBay. Not only do I buy unbuilt kits that are on eBay, I've bought a couple of built kits just to see how somebody else does a build. Some of them I've done is the pro-built models where they've just really lavished attention on them just to see if there's something there that I can try and replicate in my builds. And then sometimes I just buy them because I like them. Haven't bought a lot like that, but it's also kind of cool getting on eBay and seeing what's out there. You'll see here in a moment that I actually did one tonight. I purchased one the more I thought about it. And I got my daughter's okay to do it, so there. But anyhow, that's where I usually get my kits. Locally, I love going to Hobby Shop up in Ames. The guy there is fantastic, great person to talk with. If you're ever in central Iowa and up in Ames, in the Campus Town area, go check the guy out. He doesn't really have a website. But there's pictures if you Google it. Can't miss it. It's a great shop. A lot of things for sale in the window. A lot of stuff inside, and the prices are also pretty reasonable. And then locally here in Urbandale, we've got a place called Hobby Haven. It's a great place. I got an RC track that I've taken my little Rob McCackern Dodge out to play with. They're real big on trains and planes and RCs, but they've got a really good selection of plastic kits from planes, trains, cars, trucks, military. So it's really cool going over there and checking out their selection, and I'll buy a kit here and there on occasion. And then finally, being a member of the Salvinos JR Builder Club. I mean, I can't not mention them. I've been a member of them for probably 2.5 years now, I think. I've got probably 30 kits in my stash, and I've built several of them since the beginning of this year, where I just can't get enough of those kits. I love them. Yeah, they're a fantastic kit company. Rick, Jim, and Chris basically single-handedly reinvigorated the hobby, especially around NASCAR models and the new next-gen model that's come out. They've done tremendous work with it. They've actually added a few more people to their mix. And I mean, when you get to see them in the Model Builders group and, you know, on the Facebook page, and you see people like, Jim Mellon and Pat Redmond. I mean, these are like legends of model building that I've read about and seen, and their kits are just fantastic. It just makes me want to build better when I'm with a group of people that's like that. So it's pretty cool. But that's it. You know, that's where I get my kits. I don't usually go to big box stores. I don't go to Walmart. I don't go to Hobby Lobby while they have them there. I'm not a fan of the discounted kits that Walmart sells when they get them. They're usually also picked over, so I don't know. It is what it is. And then Hobby Lobby, for various reasons, I'm just not a fan of going there. I resist the temptation to go when they have that like 40% off. When they had it 40% off, it was like on multiple kits. Now it's you get a coupon for 40% off one. Yeah, still you're getting 40% off one kit when they run that special. But yeah, I'd rather support local business, and that's how that works. And of course, I like supporting the web businesses too. So anyone that you have web-wise you want to suggest, one thing I'm looking for is pro stock chassis, and I'll be telling you why here in a moment. So if you've got suggestions for a place that can sell good resin pro stock chassis that can fit up underneath any vehicle, let me know in the comments. So moving on, I have my top 10 plus one as far as the kits I would love to build. And without further ado, I'm just going to show you this one. You've seen it on the screen now for a couple of minutes. It is the California Street Vet. This is the #1 kit I want to build. It is expensive. I have seen kids on eBay where they say it's factory sealed, like $200. I don't want a factory sealed kit. I want one that's been opened, that you can see the parts. I don't even care if it's been partially built. I'll restore it. I've restored kits before that I bought off of eBay. They're expensive, you know. It's missing a tire. They still want $75 for it. That's okay, because if I remember correctly, the California Street Vet had hard plastic tires, and I'm going to put some real rubber on them. Like, I've got a couple of sets of old Otaki rubber tires like I put on my Roadrunner that I'm going to put on this thing. So someday, this is my holy grail kit. Out of all the kits that I'm going to show you tonight, that's the holy grail, is the California Street Vet. So, got that one. Next one. Okay, so this next kit is the 26 Ford T Sedan Delivery from Revell monogram. It's the vehicle that replicated the 1-1 sedan delivery built by Little John Butera back in the 70s. This kit, when I was a kid, I think I built one and lost to time and moves, and I've always wanted to rebuild this kit. I like the fact it's got like this root beer metallic. The original kit had wire wheels, which I do have, big and littles of, but this is a reissue. It comes with Halabrand rims, and I'm okay with that. I did see a couple on eBay. I lost out on one. It went for about $35 plus $10 shipping and handling. This one was a buy it now for under 20. with about $7 to ship and handle. So I asked my daughter what she thought. She goes, yeah, go get it, Dad. So I went on ahead and bought it. I'll be getting this in about a week. So it's going to go on my stash until I'm ready to build it. So one of my top 10 plus one down. Next kit. This one I should also be taking care of pretty soon too. I saw Chris from HPI Guys build this one up and paint it yellow, which is great. But I wanted to get the kit and paint it white. I actually have this model in my stash built up as a junker. I got it off of eBay from somebody. I wanted to see what it looked like as a junker so I could build a couple of models myself as junkers. And the name of the person who built the kit's been lost to time. But I wanted to build one as though it was been restored. So this kit, when I saw it come back out, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pick this one up. So hopefully this weekend, if I go to local stores, I see it, I'll pick one up. Otherwise, I'll just snag one from modelroundup.com. Okay, what was possibly the best kits ever made in the 80s, and that's going to be a point of contention for a lot of people. I, for one, built a ton of these kits. I built the Glidden T-Birds, both series years. I built the Frank Iaconio Camaros, and I believe Iaconio's T-Bird. I built Ricky Smith's monogram T-Bird. I built, or I think it wasn't his monogram, it was Motorcraft. I built a ton of these. I still have one of the original chassis off of a Glidden T-Bird that I was using to mock up different bodies. That's why I'm looking for a place that sells Pro Stock style chassis so I can actually put a couple of bodies that I've got on top of them. I've got some plans, I've got some ideas, and I'll share those with you over time for another video. But these are hard to come by online. Whenever I see them, they end up getting snagged. They either go for a higher price than I'm willing to pay, or they go quickly when they have a buy it now, and I just don't get a chance to get it. So, I mean, if I think it's Revell Monogram that put these out, reissue these guys. You will get a lot of sales. I will personally buy a bunch of them and put them in my stash and then build them when I'm ready. Next kit. All right, first of all, giving props to Leadhead Custom Plastics on this one. Go check out his channel. The guy's got some awesome kits and a lot of really cool builds, especially I think it's an 85 Cutlass that he's done up. This one he also did up. He's got a really cool Vega. But this kit, I like big cars of the 60s. To me, the bigger the better. And the 64 Galaxy XL was no different. He used a NASCAR chassis to underpin this. And I've got some Steve Zimmerman or Z-Man wheels that are perfect for this kit. If you're on Facebook, got to look for Steve Zimmerman or Z-Man wheels. Go check out his prices, very reasonable. He's got a ton of rims. I got to go get some more from this guy because I'm running out of stock. But still, I wouldn't mind just building this one as a slammer and not even putting an engine in it. But Leadhead did, and it's way detailed. I just like the low slung look at the car, slam it, and slap it on the shelf. I think it's a great kit. This one I may also pick up the model of because I know that Hobby Shop had a couple of them on their shelf, and I might just pick it up. So we'll see. Okay, if anybody ever remembers Gray Baskerville, also known as Your Old Dad, he was a big-time member of the hot rod community, photographer. I think even helmed hot rod for a bit. This is his 32 Ford, his own personal ride. I loved it so much that I built one a long time ago, right down to the primered fenders, and then again lost to time and a move. I have since, about the past, I think 8 or 9 years, I've had on the top of my shelf, and you'll see this in one of my stash videos coming up soon. I have a 1/8 scale 32 Ford that I would love to use to build this kit or to build this model of Gray Baskerville's ride, because I've always thought it to be one of the nicest 32 Fords out there. I am, however, afraid to actually use that kit. Reason being, I've seen it on eBay going for crazy money. Even opened kits. This one's been opened so I could check the parts, but none of the bags have been opened. So I'm actually afraid to use the kit. Now, I run counter to this. If I'm going to buy a kit, I'd like to build it. But about 3 years, 4 years ago, I sold about half of my collection, and I've only started to build it back up, courtesy of Salvanus JR and other kits. But I sold half my collection, and I'm looking at this one going, I can't sell this one, but I can't build it either. So I might actually find a smaller 32 Ford, which I know is out there, and probably 124 scale, 125th scale, and I'll build that like Gray Baskerville's car. But it's just kind of cool to look at this ride and say, man, maybe one day I'll pull the pin and go after the 1A scale kit. But otherwise, I don't mind leaving that kit up on the shelf to just kind of stare at and go, I remember when I had the original one from the 70s that is basically unobtainable today. That's why I don't build that one. 2 words, Cheese Whiz. 2 more words, Scott Sullivan. 1 word, legend. This one I want to build more than any other one of the cars that I saw in the 80s, whether it's from Scott Sullivan, Matt and Debbie Hay, Rod Seibury, Troy Chapanier. This kit, this is the one I want to build. And this car was on my bedroom wall. I bought like 3 or 4 magazines that had it as a centerfold and put it up. I don't know. It just was the car that did it for me. Maybe it was because I had a friend of mine back in high school named Ricky Mooneyham that had, I think it was a 55 or 56 that was done this really cool cherry metallic with true spokes rims, and it was just a sweet ride. I've always loved the Tri-5 Chevys, even though I'm a Ford man and a Mopar guy. I love the Tri-5 Chevys. You can't go wrong with them. But when I saw Scott Sullivan with this one at the CarCraft Summer Nationals, boom, this was the mind-blowing, this is the car I need to build. I never built it, but I read the magazines that was featured in. Like I said, I had it up on the wall. Forget the pictures and posters of Lamborghinis. This was on my wall, next to my picture of Farrah Fawcett. But still, someday I'll build this one. I know there's, I believe, a Revell kit that's of a 55 Chevy that's done with like a Pro Stock hood, and I think maybe it comes with a stock hood. I'm going to go check it out. If it's the case, then I will do what I can to get parts together and then put this together as a future build. So, stay tuned. First thing that comes to mind when I see Project X is Chinese Bandits, 11 o'clock. I love the movie Hollywood Nights. It was a crazy, stupid movie, but man, just like American Graffiti, it had some of the coolest cars out there. And Project X, I mean, it's legend. It is legend. That car has gone through so many iterations, but this is the article original. Blown motor, Kragers, Tony Danza driving it, and Michelle Pfeiffer. Come on, it's just, it's everything in a movie that you wanted, and it was just fun. But the 57 Chevy Project X, I had I think a 112 scale version of this, I think from AMT. I remember I built it yellow. I had the blown motor, and I had it was a convertible. But while that was wrong, I wanted to get it someday as a hardtop. I can't remember if they ever built a larger scale hardtop of it, but someday I would love to buy a kit and build it just like Project X with the blown motor and the Krager rims on it and everything. I think it is just one of the coolest cars that's ever out there. And also, they got a 40 Ford in there that's custom built. And if you look at it in that movie, nice little tidbit, Tony Nancy, famous drag racer, is in that video. I'm not going to spoil it for you. Go check it out. Long live A-Trax. But that 40 Ford Coupe is also another one that I would not mind building. It's kind of like an honorable mention. But the 57 Chevy, Project X, can't go wrong with it. Okay, if you've ever heard of Bad Chad and Jolene, whether it be through their TV series or through YouTube, this is just one example of what they build. This one is a rendering done by Joe Putt. Basically marries the 49 Mercury 4-door with a 36 Ford 2-door that Bad Chad had roaming around. And what's so cool about it is that these were otherwise like cast-offs or sitting on the sides where someone else might just junk it. He sees potential. And among all the other builds that he's done, which are fantastic. I love Elvis, by the way. I can't wait to see that one when it's finished, or even Bugatti that he's building for Jolene. This one stands out. One, because right away when I saw him building this, I was reminded of the Jimmy Flintstone resin kit that's on modelroundup.com that I may very well go on ahead and buy here soon, just so I've got it in my collection. So if I'm inspired, I'm going to go on ahead and put it together. The Jimmy Flintstone resin kit is a cab over of a 41 Lincoln. And while his is a 49 Merc versus 36 Ford, I think I could just adapt it and make it look a lot like what Joe Putt had done in his design. Two-tone black and silver, can't go wrong with that. I've got that on my Riviera the same way. But still, it's a kit that I would love to build. And like I said, if you get a chance, go check out go check out Bad Chad and Jolene's YouTube channel. Subscribe to them. You will not be disappointed. Okay, I got one more before I go for the night. And out of all the other kits that I had in mind, this one took the top spot for my +1. Here in the States, we had Steve McQueen, the King of Cool. We had the movie Bullet with the greatest car chase in cinematic history. And we had the 1968 Highland Green Mustang GT390. Not to be outdone, France had Jean-Paul Belmondo. They had the movie Le Marginal from 1983. And they had this, which I believe is a 68 Mustang that's was driven by another character in the movie that Jean-Paul Belmondo takes and takes off in a car chase, going after two bad guys driving, of all things, a Volare. And while the Mustang itself meets its end during the car chase, it's still a fantastic car chase, and the sound the car makes as he's chasing the bad guys is also just really cool. But the car itself is also really cool. It's got dents, dings, bulletproof glass. I think I could replicate this easily enough. I've got a couple kits on my shelf that someday I'd like to build, but yeah, it's going to take some time. But again, looking at all these kits, my top 10 +1, I'm going to ask you, what are some of the kits that you would like to build, whether you've got them on your shelf or that you'd have to purchase, and leave them in the comments. So with that, I'm going to let you go for the night. I'll get this posted in the morning, and with that, I'll see you on my Sunday video, and just have a great rest of the week. Take care.